Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time again. Wednesday, 6 p.m. It's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Mild. Oh, my lord. Sorry. That was probably loud as fuck. My apologies, rather. It's Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles. And it is February 8th, 2023. Wednesday. And last night was the State of the Union. Now, I kind of passively listened to the State of the Union. I will admit to that. I'm not going into it fresh like most of our content here on Mild's Culture Plate. By the way, I got the Don't Steal Government Hates Competition shirt. We listened to a hit song called We Are the People in the lead-in. Gotta love it. So yeah, we're all in fuck the government mode tonight here on Mild's Culture Plate. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna basically say fuck you to the State of the Union address. And I'm going to do that not by reading the State of the Union address and responding to it, but kind of skimming it, but giving my own state of each of the fucking issues that Joe Biden decided to lie about in front of the entire world last night. So let me go ahead and State of the Union transcript. So tonight, our whiskey, and I'm going to be drinking way more of this than I usually do on a Wednesday stream. I'm going to be drinking way more of this than I usually do on a Wednesday stream. Sorry, I wasn't speaking into the microphone. Basil Hayden's Dark Rye for our Wednesday whiskey today. And I might try to fucking knock out most of the rest of this bottle. If anyone's out there in the chat, let me just flip over to the chat. If anyone's out there in the chat, let me know. Say hi. Leave a comment at any point in time. And, I will take a swig for every single person that shows up tonight. I don't get a lot of live viewers. But when I do like to cheers them. I like to say hi. So if you're out there, say hi in the chat. I'll say hi back and I'll give you a toast. But first of all, let's give a toast to the United States of America. It's been a good run, but the end is near. It's obvious the end is near. We'll see. Okay. And it's behind the New York Times paywall. Let's see who else has it here. ABC News. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and pour some more whiskey and have it ready in case anybody pops in. Whew. There we go. I guess, there we go. Get some rye going. All right, let's get started right on this. Okay, the president says thank you to the speaker. I mean, come on. Oh yeah, before I get right into this, did y'all see? I mean, I'm sure you have. The husband of the vice president planting a smacker right on the lips of the first lady. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, congratulations. Special recognition to Nancy Pelosi. Let's see. America is a story of progress and resilience. It was After 2 years of a shit economy, the economy's getting fucking worse. The President of the United States wants to brag about 12 million new fucking jobs. More jobs than any president has created in 4 years. Well, yeah, but, the problem I have with this is the same problem I had when Trump was touting a bunch of new jobs. When you shut the fucking whole goddamn country down for a year, and a lot of people lose their jobs because they don't want to fucking take a how do I phrase this? Because they don't want to participate in a medical situation. Let's just put it that way. They didn't get advised by their doctor in the same way as other folks, and so they may have lost their job due to these things. Yeah, of course there's fucking 12 million new jobs because there's a lot of goddamn vacant jobs. And there still is. There still is. The president claimed that democracy faced its greatest threat since the Civil War. I don't fucking know about that. Again, how are you defining democracy in this? And are you talking about COVID or are you talking about, it seems like, yeah, and 2 years ago. So yeah, it sounds like what happened in January 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm just going to say fuck you, right? Can we just do that? Can we just say fuck you? Can we just say you can't just invoke 1-6 every time you need to gym up a little bit of support? Progress and resilience indeed. Working together. Yeah, you fucking nobody on the fucking left. Let's face it, the left is getting further and further left and further insane, and yeah, they have no interest in peace and working together on fucking anything. There are definitely some sane people on the left, but I would say that the far left would call those people Republican nowadays. Like your allies no longer fucking support you. And, I consider you left. I consider you far left because obviously your politics reflect that. But because you're willing to open up a dialogue, open up a conversation, and debate ideas, well, that's platforming Nazis. Nazis! You can't platform Nazis! Yeah, nope. We ain't doing that. We ain't playing that game. Reauthorizing Violence Against Women Act, Electoral Count Reform Act, Respect for Marriage Act. Yeah, what the fuck ever. A bunch of bullshit, a bunch of crammed through... Look, shit that the government shouldn't be involved in. Let's just put it that way. The violence against women, okay, maybe, but not as that look. And again, I'm not going to get into the whole fucking gendered violence debate here. I'm not trying to get deep into that, but let's be honest. There's no Violence Against Men Act, right? I mean, if there's a place where the government should be involved, it's violence, but let's not act like looking at one side of the coin is actually accomplishing anything real in this country. I mean, some people might be saved, sure. Some other people might be wrongfully oppressed by this. Anyway, Respect for Marriage Act. Well, government... I maintain that my position is the government should not be involved in people's relationships. When you love someone, the last thing you should want to do is get fucking government and lawyers involved. And I seriously fucking mean that to everyone out there. If you don't have an insurance or medical reason to fill that paperwork out with the one you love, don't fucking do it. I mean, you're just generating a headache for yourself and the government. Woo. That Basil Hayden's is hitting me, folks. Thank you. Consensus, important things in Congress, fighting for the sake of fighting. Well, y'all are the ones fighting for the sake of fighting. I mean, let's face it, right now, one of the most important issues on fucking Twitter right now is whether or not people are bigots for buying a Harry Potter video game. Because some of that money might wind up in J.K. Rowling's pocket. And J.K. Rowling believes in biological sex. Oh my fucking God. Talk about fighting for the sake of fighting. If I want to just take money out of my pocket and hand it to J.K. Rowling, it does nothing to you. It does nothing to you. You say, it enables her to continue to pay for her internet access so that she could keep preaching transphobic values or whatever the fuck you're on about. But she's going to do that anyway. She's going to speak her mind. She's going to be who she is anyway. And quite frankly, I'm going to be who I am. This idea that transphobic values can't be ever spoken in public. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You may give a shit, but you give too much of a shit, and you're fighting for the sake of fighting. It's my money. I do what I want. Now, granted, let me be crystal fucking clear. I'm not spending my money on Harry Potter bullshit because I think Harry Potter nerds are just as degenerate as transgenders. But let's move on. The middle class has been hollowed out. Well, yeah. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs moved overseas. Dude, that's been happening since the 90s. Factories closed down, once thriving cities and towns. Well, yeah, between NAFTA, that basically opened up our southern border as a fucking port to China. China. Man, I miss President Trump in some of this shit. China. Anyway, I'm drunk already. So yeah, this idea that we open up our southern border and make it a port to China. And then fucking COVID, we want to enforce all these medical restrictions upon workplaces. And then we wonder why factories are closing down. We wonder why small towns across the Midwestern United States aren't the economic fucking boom areas they once were. That's because so many of these tiny little towns sprawled clear across the Midwest were only surviving because the nearby factory was able to provide jobs for people in the fucking area to build houses and build a lifestyle and go to the fucking grocery store and survive. Now good luck even getting eggs in that fucking grocery store. Your administration has done nothing to fix those things. The middle class, now, you want to say the middle class are people who fucking sit in condo apartments in the big city. And let me tell you, look, I drive through the big city every day as part of my job, my real life job. I have a chance to drive through several areas of a metropolitan area in the Midwest. And you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing all these fucking apartment complexes, like these stupid condo loft apartments just sprout up where poor black and Hispanic communities used to be. Where people, where a single mother might have been able to afford a small mortgage payment on, maybe not your best house. Maybe it's a little run down. Maybe it's a little old. Maybe it could use some fucking TLC. But she owned the property. And then all of a sudden inflation creeps its way in. And she creeps her way out. And now she has to go rent a fucking apartment down the goddamn street. And then in come the bulldozers and build another apartment where her house once stood. And now the same people who used to live on that block and own their own home now have to rent these stupid fucking condos. And it's supposed to be trendy. Oh, we put a bank in the lobby. We put a fucking coffee shop in there. Dude, it's not just gentrification. It's gentrification of the worst fucking kind. Quite literally. Anyway, so the idea that the current president of the United States gives any shit about where factories are, where jobs are, where the middle class has to fucking live. He would rather them have to rent from these large corporations, these developing companies, than to own their own home. It's quite simple. I mean, that's the direction of our nation. And the fact that he, in this entire State of the fucking Union speech, does not mention housing is fucking crystal clear that that's the goal. Unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year record low. Or near record, and near record unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. Well, I wonder what that was like in mid-2020, or well, really 2019. I wonder what those numbers look like in 2019. I'm not going to get into that. Because again, to me, this isn't about fucking Trump or Biden. They both suck ass. But the idea that Biden created all this employment for Black and Hispanic workers, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. Well, I wonder what could have possibly fucking happened that made companies think, well, maybe we need to manufacture some shit in the United States. Could it fucking be that all of the supplies they were trying to ship from overseas got clogged in shipping ports and shortages of fucking microchips and all this Chinese gridlock, that they're like, oh yeah, well maybe having an import model, it wasn't the best fucking idea. We can't move as many units as we used to be able to. Maybe we ought to do some small scale manufacturing here at home. It's going to cost a little more, but in the long run, we'll be able to fucking put out more widgets. I mean, quite frankly, it's fucked up when you see a shipping crisis and shortages of several items that are supposed to be on store shelves. And then you take credit for an upspring in manufacturing. Well, no shit, Sherlock. They saw a vacancy in the market and moved in. Inflation, global problem because of pandemic, supply chains, and Putin's war in Ukraine. Yeah, anytime you get a chance to slip that name, Vladimir Putin, into these fucking speeches, or Donald Trump, or the Republican Party. Ooh, the Republican Party. Yeah, fuck the Republican Party. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Vladimir Putin. What does grain in Ukraine, specifically mentioned by the president in the State of the Union, what does grain in Ukraine have to do with food prices here in the United States? Well, he goes on to say, inflation is coming down. Gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Yeah, motherfucker. Wonder why? Because you're robbing from our strategic reserves. Our strategic reserves are at fucking record lows. Donald Trump wanted to boost domestic production. And we're going to get into that because, unfortunately, he fucking mentions the oil companies and their production rates. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months while take-home pay has gone up. No, you're a fucking liar. You are a fucking liar. Inflation hasn't fallen. The increase of inflation has minimized. That's a different story. The number is still going up. It's just going up at a smaller rate. So inflation itself isn't falling. It's just not increasing as fast. 10 million Americans have applied to start new businesses. Well, okay, sure. If you're talking about people applying for LLCs because they want to be able to fucking write off taxes and not have their personal assets be at risk for the things they need to do running a small business and doing their side gigs, because let's be fucking honest, everyone's got a side gig nowadays. Everyone's doing something other than their 9 to 5. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of people fucking applying for LLCs. And it's an act of hope. Yeah, a little bit, but I wouldn't take credit, Mr. President. Semiconductors, they were invented in America. Who gives a shit where they were invented? They're not manufactured here very much. Yeah, we're down to only producing 10%, he says. And then he talks about automobiles needing microchips. Let me tell you a little story. Like, I'm currently in a conundrum. I have literally a 30-year-old vehicle. My daily driver is a 30-fucking-year-old vehicle. I have enough money sitting right now in various savings accounts and investment accounts where I could go out right now and put money down on a car. I mean, good money. I mean, a good down payment. I could buy a brand new car fairly fucking easily. But I don't do it. Why? Because for one, right now the auto market is so shit that to get a decent vehicle, and granted, I'm actually a person, I actually like hybrid vehicles. If for no other fucking reason than I don't like stopping at gas stations other than to take a piss and get a soda. So I like hybrid vehicles. I fucking hate electric vehicles. And so right now I'm trying to find a hybrid vehicle. And quite frankly, the fucking waiting list is 8 months on a decently priced hybrid vehicle. I could buy one used at the same fucking price as a new car. And even if I get a new one, I'm probably going to wind up paying crazy dealer markups. You want to blame the fucking microchips? Well, and again, he claims credit for passing the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act. Well, where are the fucking microchips, Joe? Where are the fucking automobiles, Joe? Can I just fucking buy a car? Literally, I walked out this morning and the fucking ignition to my car broke. I'd like a new car. Where are they, Joe? Fuck you. And again, back to the 800,000 jobs. Semiconductor factory is going to create another 10,000 jobs. 7,000 construction jobs, and then 3,000 jobs in the factories once they're finished. Okay, so once you build them, then what's going to happen to those 7,000 people working in construction? Are they going to get fucking laid off? Are they going to have to go work at the fucking McDonald's that's been hiring for a year and a half? Are they going to have to work one of these shit jobs? Oh, we got 7,000 construction jobs and then 3,000 more long-term factory jobs. Like after you build the factory, 3,000 of the 7,000 might have a more long-term job, but the other 4,000, you might wind up laid off. Yeah, good luck. New homes, small businesses. Yeah, new homes. I just fucking explained. They're not building very many new homes. For one, you've had the cost of fucking construction materials skyrocket in the last 2 years, and they've come down a little bit, but not enough. But you tell me where homes are being built. They're not. You're building apartments and condos. You're developers are doing all the fucking construction. "13th in the world in infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. 2,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland." Yeah, again, more slush fund bullshit from Congress. "I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law and the Republicans who voted against it, blah, blah, blah. The Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, in need of repairs." Okay, build the fucking bridge. How many... You've been president for 2 fucking years, Joe. You're sending billions to Ukraine, and you're concerned about a bridge over the Ohio River? And you even say it carries $2 billion worth of freight a day over the Ohio River. How can we not? How can we not take $2 billion and divert it? But we can send it to fucking Ukraine. Again, talking about union workers in Ohio. "Oh, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 schools and child care centers, so that every child can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain." Again, you've been president for 2 years, Joe. How long has Flint, Michigan had fucking dirty water? At what point is this a crisis? At what point is this a nationwide crisis? "No parent should drive to a McDonald's parking lot to help doing their homework with kids." I'm assuming you're talking about their Wi-Fi. Nobody's doing that anymore. We all have smartphones. Back when you were vice president, the president of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, started passing laws saying, "Hey, we're going to provide high-speed fucking cell phones to everyone. So you don't need to go to fucking McDonald's to get Wi-Fi. You can just open up your smart device that the government gave you for free." Joe, come on, bro. Inflation Reduction Act, yeah. We're taking on powerful interests to bring healthcare costs down. Yeah, and again, no mention of the fucking IRS agents that are ready to knock down your door. All the money we're going to, again, going back to I created all these shit ton of jobs. Yeah, well, fucking 80,000 of them are IRS workers. To make sure you can't slip by. Again, prescription drugs. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. Yeah, because of you. Because of you, Mr. President. You were so jealous of Donald Trump being able to take credit for a left-wing issue that you shit-canned his executive order, and now you're trying to pass it through Congress and use it as a bully pulpit for the big pharma. The same big pharma that you tried to mandate their product on everyone. So fuck you. $200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes who need insulin, sure. Let's cap the cost for everyone at $35. Yeah, President Trump already did that. He did it already. And you shit-canned it so that you could create a demon in Big Pharma after you've been their best friend for 2 years and then take credit for doing it yourself. And then here we go. This law also caps, and it won't go into effect until 2025. Okay, so it's 2020. It's the beginning of 2023, bro. You're telling me we gotta wait another 2.5 fucking years for relief of medical costs under your proposed law? At a maximum of $2,000 a year. No matter how much drug costs are, because you know why, you won't know it. Know what, Joe? Thousands of dollars for cancer drugs. Yeah, same shit. Same shit. You're the one in bed with Pfizer. You're the one... the left wing's the one that props up Dr. Fauci. The left wing's the one that props up fucking Pfizer and AstraZeneca. Johnson & Johnson. Again, threatening to repeal... Some members of the House are threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. Fucking good. It's a bloated bill that has a lot of unnecessary shit in it. And you can't reduce inflation by creating more invisible money out of nothing and stealing it from taxpayers through the debt. That just creates more inflation. Anything to raise the cost of prescription drugs, I'll veto it. And I think, if I remember right, that was the clip I saw earlier where he didn't actually say prescription drugs. And now I'm talking like Joe, because that's exactly what he did. If you make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of I'll veto it. Yeah, he can't even speak. Record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. The bullshit Affordable Care Act. Because perhaps they can't afford real fucking healthcare plans. Because of the inflation and the crazy costs. My own fucking healthcare plan went up by a crazy amount this year. Millions are saving $800 a year on premiums. Yeah, because they're ditching their actual fucking PPO and HMO plans to go with this bullshit. That benefit expires in 2025, so my plea is let's finish the job and make those payment savings permanent and expand coverage on Medicaid. Medicaid. See, it always goes back to the welfare programs. And again, welfare is a thing. We've opened that Pandora's box. I don't think we're ever going to see it closed again. It's just not possible. Oh, and now he shifts to energy. Electric grids, forest fires, roads, waters. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Powered by what, Joe? You going to build a bunch of fucking solar panels on those EV charging stations? Am I supposed to believe I'm just going to be able to hop in a Ford at a reasonable price and just plug it in anywhere and be able to drive all day? No. And am I supposed to believe that, like I said, you're gonna power it by the sun? You're gonna power it with windmills? No. You're gonna power it through natural gas. You're gonna power it through coal. You're gonna power it through nuclear. And at 500,000 across the United States, I bet a lot of those aren't going to be clean nuclear. But most of them are going to be natural gas or coal, which means you're using just as much fossil fuel as you'd use if you just pull over and put that fucking nozzle in the damn car. conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. I need some more liquor. I'm drunk. Don't get me wrong. I fucking slammed a whole glass of whiskey. But I gotta be just a little more drunk. The idiocy is starting to fucking wear on me. Starting to sober me. Oh, here we go. Down here, couple sentences away. I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. What the fuck? Have you heard a more Orwellian... I mean, yes, I actually have heard more Orwellian shit, but think about it. I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. Not to the market, not to charity, but to government, so the state can redistribute your wealth. And again, talking about the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, making billions of profits. Okay. Here's to everyone who found a tax loophole this year. Cheers to everyone who found a fucking tax loophole this year and was able to deny just a little bit of their hard-earned money to the United States federal government. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're working at McDonald's. I don't care if you're on fucking unemployment. If you found a way through either donations or through an LLC, if you found a way to write off a bunch of fucking money, cheers to you. Amen. Fuck the government. Good shit. Good shit that fucking Basil Hayden's rye is. Nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny. And again, notice how he throws that word additional in there. Yeah, I call bullshit. For one, you're already taxing the shit out of us. You're already taxing the shit out of us. How am I supposed to believe that my taxes aren't going to fucking go up? Oh, because you don't give a shit if the dollar collapses. That's why. You don't give a shit if you don't repay the debt. Just keep inflating the currency, and then eventually pull the rug out from under it and make it a Federal Reserve central bank digital currency situation. That'll fix the problem. Big Oil reported $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. Well, okay. What's your fucking point? How? Again, this is what happens when you try to make an enemy out of industry. They increase their price. They try to hang on to the profits that they get. They don't reinvest it. And again, we're still getting there. We're almost there. If they had in fact invested in production to keep the gas prices down, instead they used record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why, and here we go. The President of the United States proposes we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments they still may consider profit. Long-term investments, huh? Like the Keystone XL pipeline that you shit-canned from day one in the midst of construction? I mean, the greenery had already been clear-cut. The trenches had been dug. We would have an energy pipeline running through the middle of the United States right now. That would have been a great investment. But you had to make an enemy of the energy industry. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than... The numbers are always a lie. The numbers are always a lie. The numbers aren't the year-by-year numbers being cut. They're the rates at which the shit's growing. is what's being cut. The shit's still growing. It's just growing a little slower. And again, here goes a knock at Trump. Trump added more to the national debt than any 4 years. Or than any 4. Yeah, okay. Who gives a shit? It was a fucking pandemic. He was throwing money to the fucking citizens hand over fist just to try to keep the country afloat. I don't agree with it. I fucking hate the fact that Trump was throwing stimulus after stimulus at us. I didn't want the money. I was still working. A lot of people were still working. I would say the people who weren't working maybe didn't have essential jobs. You gotta kind of wonder what essential jobs really were. Every job should have been essential. Every job in the United States should be essential. The fact that so many people were laid off or sent home or had to work from home or like, if you really fucking think about the philosophy of it all, what job do you have? They could just be like, we just don't need to work anymore. Is that a part of our industry? Is that a part of our infrastructure? Is that a part of our society being lifted up that we could just afford to throw away for 2 years? And yet, when the former president of the United States throws stimulus after stimulus, oh, well, now, blah, 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 he added more to the national debt. Man, I'm Joe Biden, man. Motherfucker, you would have done the same thing, if not quadrupled it. And again, he says Congress did the right thing by lifting the debt ceilings 3 times without preconditions. Yeah, because just when you got a problem, and again, not financial advice, please understand this is sarcasm. When you got a problem at home, making ends meet, just fill out another credit card statement, get you another credit card. Just put all that debt, move it from one credit card to another. That'll work. Raising the debt ceiling is nothing but ordering another credit card in the mail when you can't afford to pay the ones you have. And then he claims Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset, and the audience boos, and people start calling him liars. He says he's going to bring a proposal, whatever. Now, he's calling out the Republicans. He's trying to create this, oh, well, if you say you don't want it, then here, we got to work together on this. Well, yeah, come on. It's disingenuous. Everyone can fucking see through it, except for the far crazy fucking left wing. And anyone with any common sense knows that, again, like I said earlier, Social Security, welfare, Medicare, those fucking Pandora's boxes are open. We're never going to get the toothpaste back in the tube. There is no fucking possible way that anyone with any political position could ever run on a platform of, yeah, I just want to get rid of all the welfare. Because the people are voting for their own pockets. He's challenging Republicans to lay down their own plan. He claims he's going to cut the deficit by $2 trillion and not cut any Medicare or Social Security. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier about not taxing anyone under, not raising the taxes of anyone who makes under $400,000. You know, this sounds like a lot of fucking magic you're claiming you're going to pull. How are you going to cut the deficit by $2 trillion? $1 trillion. What timeline are we talking about? $2 trillion a year? The year over year by $2 trillion? And what timeline are we talking about doing? Is this going to be a thing where it's like $1 million a year for the next fucking 200,000 years? Is this where we're going with this? Is this a joke? We're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades because that's the next argument. How do we keep it solvent? You don't. It's already not solvent. We're already running the debt up so insane that... We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, or prescribe drugs that aren't needed. Sure. I mean, that's what lawsuits are for. That's what local laws are for. I don't understand what he's getting at. I mean, I assume he's talking about, again, Medicare spending. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars so they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Well, yeah. But it's not 1987 anymore. Hearing aids aren't fucking some weird technology that costs $9,000 fucking dollars, right? I mean, look, I've got a fucking earbud right here that can process and amplify digital audio. It cost me $20 fucking dollars. Gee, I wonder what we would do without the technology. Without a prescription. Because we need a prescription for digital audio boosting technology. Come on, Joe. It's 2023. I know you've been in Congress since the beginning of the fucking Jurassic era. By the way, shout out to Alyssa Clips. I see you in the chat. Take a sip for you. I know you've been in Congress since the Jurassic era, but technology advancements are a thing. They reduce costs. Patting yourself on the back that hearing aids are cheap doesn't do a fucking thing. You signed a bill that cuts shipping costs by 90%. I call bullshit. Credit card late fees. We've written a bill to stop it called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees, cable and internet fees, surprise fees on concerts and sporting events, airlines from charging baggage fees, and extra passenger fees. You know, Joe, yes, we live in a crazy world where corporations have figured out that they could tack on little additional charges and throw them in your contract. But let's be honest. You're Joe Biden. You're Credit Card Joe. The former senator, Maryland, I think it was. The credit card companies were your biggest lobbyists when you were a senator. You're the one who prevented discharging several kinds of debt in bankruptcies. So this idea that, now you're concerned with these little extra hidden contract fees from all these weird industries doing all these little bullshit. Bullshit. No. And this is the weird thing. He talks about the resort fees at hotels. I've got an upcoming trip to Las Vegas, and I've been there a few times. I've paid the resort fees several times. From what I understood, like that was a local law that was passed there telling, like a local law forcing, again, this goes back to the left wing wanting everybody to have everything and have government pay for it, or government force corporations to pay for it. There was a local law forcing the resorts in Las Vegas, the hotels in Las Vegas, any kind of lodging in Las Vegas, to offer things like Wi-Fi and certain types of entertainment. And the trade-off was, you get these things automatically, you book your hotel, but you got to pay the fee. It's automatic, but you got to pay the fee. Which is dumb. To me, that could be a sweet upgrade. That could be a thing. Look, let me add on there. Let me get 24-hour access to the internet, whatever. That could be a nice little add-on charge that I could be willing to pay out of pocket. But instead, it was a government-forced issue. And now we have the President of the United States going on national TV for his biggest yearly speech and saying it's a big problem that government has to solve. Isn't that the fucking God's honest truth about every damn thing? Government creates a problem, and then the only people that can fucking fix it is more bigger government. Gotta love it. And now he's talking, okay, so then he goes on to talk about workers having a right to form a union. Literally, I watched it with my own eyes. Every union under the sun crawling out of the woodwork to endorse this motherfucker. And he gives them 3 sentences in the State of the Union. 3 fucking sentences in the State of the Union. You gotta love it. Let's organize. Okay, moving on. Working parents can afford to raise a family in sick days, family medical leave. He continues talking about labor, but not from a union standpoint. Full child tax credit. Oh my God. What about people who don't have a kid? Again, redistribution of wealth. There are people who are like, I'm too poor to have a kid. And then there are other people like, I'm poor and I have a kid. So let's say, okay, you're too poor to have a kid. Let's take your money and give it to the people who are too poor and have a kid. Because the children, we have to think of the children. We have to cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. When we do these things, we increase productivity and economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable quality housing. Here we are. We're at the housing that I was talking about. Seniors to stay in their homes. Again, restoring dignity of work, making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. So like I said, his whole fucking speech, the only thing he talks about middle class housing is old people should be able to keep their house. After he just went through this whole spiel about making elder care more affordable. I mean, who are you really trying to talk to here, Joe? Are you just trying to get your peers, the octogenarians? Are you really just trying to keep their vote? Because the rest of us, we would like affordable housing. The rest of us, we would like to own our own fucking home. We don't want to live in this bullshit, high-rise, condo, never own your own shit kind of housing. We don't want to be kicked out of our home because it's unaffordable, only to have bulldozers come, bulldoze our block, and then us have to fucking rent a damn condo on the same block 3 years later. He says his wife Jill has an expression that any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. I can't fucking... Look, I can't... And again, sorry for my chair being so damn squeaky. Another little sip of the Basil Hayden's dark rye here. All right. Whew, that's 2 glasses down. All right. Education. Throwing money at education is never the answer. We have to have teachers who want to actually teach. We have to have a parenting system that generates a need to learn for children. I don't know what the fuck he's getting out of this. 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. It is if you're actually educating the students. But as we've seen over the past 5 years, the primary goal of public schools is to teach children about diversity. To teach children about race and gender. I'm not saying kids shouldn't be somewhat exposed to the idea of diversity. But when we have made it a primary goal of our education system and not to train our young ones to think, act, produce, and invent, to use logic, to use numbers, we've got our priorities backwards. Let's give public school teachers a raise. Yay, Joe. No, fuck you. Earn your raise. Earn your raise. Quit making TikTok videos about your damn pride flag and earn your fucking raise. We're making progress reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants. Oh, yeah. Throwing more money at universities is the fucking answer. Again, COVID. I'm not going to talk about that because this is YouTube. Anti-fraud strike force going after... Wait, what? Wait a minute, I missed something here. Families grieving empty chairs of the day. Remember, oh, stole the relief money. Prosecuting criminals who stole the relief money. The PPP. No shit. Maybe if the government doesn't advertise that it's handing out free money, and all you got to do is just apply. Well, no shit, people stole money. Anti-fraud strike force. Going after these criminals. Double the statute of limitations on these crimes and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from American people. I mean, look, you gave out PPP forgiveness. PPP forgiveness. They didn't have to pay the loans back. You maybe not you, Joe, but Congress, the people you schmooze with, politicians, the federal government, you did this. Oh, and now we're into Black Lives Matter and police violence. He says if a police officer pulls you over, turn on your interior lights right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. And then he said he never had to say those things to Bo, Hunter, and Ashley. Well, gee, I wonder why. Could it be like were some of them driving around in vehicles that had U.S. Congress on the license plate? Was that part of it? I mean, we've seen videos of Bo doing fucking cocaine off of a stripper's asshole. Or not Bo, Hunter, excuse me. Rest in peace, Bo. My bad. Hunter. We've seen the videos of Hunter doing fucking cocaine off of booties. We've seen the videos of him swimming through a grotto with his wang hanging out. And you mean to tell me that he's never been nervous around a cop? Well, gee, I wonder why. You'd call it white supremacy if you're a card-carrying member of the Democrat Party. But I'll guarantee if I had the amount of cocaine Hunter Biden had on my person and I was approached by a police officer, I'd definitely be pretty fucking nervous and wanting to turn my light on, keep my hands on the steering wheel, trying to make that little encounter go away pretty damn fast. So I don't want to hear about your kids, Joe. I don't want to hear how privileged you had it and your kids had it, because quite frankly, that's not the rest of us. You can call it white supremacy all day, but it's your supremacy, not the rest of us with white skin. We got to worry about getting pulled over by the police. Some of us more than others. Like I said earlier in this live stream, I've been driving a 30-year-old car. Cops really like pulling over them old beaters and milking whatever they can out of the poorest people possible. We all want the same thing: neighborhoods free of violence, law enforcement, earning the community trust, just as every cop has a right to be able to go home at night. Equal protection under the laws of covenant we have with each other in America. Okay, so again, you want to address police brutality? Address police brutality. Make a federal law that they have to carry insurance. They shoot someone, the family gets paid. Period. I don't see the problem with that. Even if they shoot a criminal, like, you know, we have these conservatives, right? These conservatives who are like, the cops can never do anything wrong, and you know, he was reaching, and he was reaching, you know, he was getting violent with the cop, and he was resisting arrest. Okay, well, what about his wife and kid? Were they resisting arrest? Were they reaching? Do they deserve to have the breadwinner of their family shot by a police officer? So, and again, I'm not saying it should be the cop's fault to provide for the family of everyone they murder, or, you know, everyone that they might shoot in self-defense. Excuse me, I don't mean murder, I mean self-defense. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, well, maybe there's a middle ground. Maybe there's a middle ground that might prevent some of these shootings from happening. And when they do happen, maybe the families can get some sort of relief. So I'm a big advocate in police officers having to carry insurance, but you're never going to see that because it's government watching out for their own, right? The police officers are the ones who protect the politicians. They're not going to do that to their own. Oh my God, I'm already an hour into the program. Well, I can't make this last too much longer. Holy shit, I'm only halfway through. Okay, I'm gonna try to motor through this because yeah, I can't. I've gotta wrap up this stream pretty damn quick. Oh, look, here we go. Okay, during the new Lunar New Year celebration. Wait, who is this? Sorry, I jumped down. Okay, so Tyrese. Parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Oh, shout out to Mike. I'm gonna have to pour some more whiskey. I'm gonna cheers to Mike in the chat. Sorry, didn't see you there. Now I see you there, so I'm gonna give you a shout out. Shout out to Mike in the chat. Glass number 3. He says make it a 2-parter. I might have to. I mean, I'm a little more than halfway. I jumped over some of the, because they go from police brutality into mental health and into gun violence. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. And there's really only like a third of it left, and a lot of it's a bunch of bullshit. So I think I might be able to get done pretty quick. But anyway, shout out to Mike. Cheers, bro. Enjoying that Basil Hayden's Dark Rye tonight. So, joining us is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero, put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side when she was dying of cancer. He was attending Lunar New Year celebrations when he heard the studio close and saw a man pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. Which is most of the guns in the United States, by the way. Semi-automatic pistols are the most common. He wrestled the automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in the dance studio. And then he says, ban assault weapons now. I thought you liberals were afraid of AR-15s. Now you're worried about pistols. What's an assault weapon? An assault weapon is any weapon being used in an assault. Assault is already illegal. So therefore, assault weapons are already banned. I led the fight to do that in 1994. That wasn't an assault weapons ban. That was an automatic weapons ban. And in 10 years, that ban was law. Mass shootings went down. Mass shootings tripled. Well, that's not exactly true. But in your story, you said it was a fucking pistol. That's your average Glock or 45. Anything fucking a police officer's carrying is the same thing. Again, these crazy leftists, they're not happy until all you're left with is a musket or a shotgun. And even then, you go that far, then they'll want to go further. I mean, look at the UK. They're banning fucking knives. They're making people turn in plastic knives in the UK. Record number of personnel working to secure the border. Bullshit! Arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. And it's a drop in the fucking bucket. It is a drop in the ocean compared to how many people are still coming across the border and how many drugs are still coming into this country. Migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence. Well, yes, but they're coming through Mexico. And you give no shits about Mexico. And you just started last month. Well, what about the previous 23 months? American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. Well, fucking Congress acted, and the former president acted. They were building a fucking wall that you stopped, and now they're cutting holes in that wall. Because you won't fund a real secure border. And now he goes into abortion and LGBT. And look, I'm going to kind of borrow this from, earlier today I watched Nick Rekieta and Joe from Good Logic's little spiel about this State of the Union, and I'm going to kind of borrow some of this from them. Fucking, you can blame Lindsey Graham. This abortion fight, the right was winning the abortion fight. Like, we had gained ground thanks to the Supreme Court and thanks to being able to speak on a national level about the realities of abortion. The fact that the rape statistic was bullshit. The fact that the health of the mother statistic was bullshit. That they were such a minority of abortion cases. That as a talking point, they were red herrings. They were straw men. They were bullshit. And we were gaining ground. We were gaining momentum. The pro-life movement was. Now, I don't necessarily consider myself a pro-life activist, but I don't want to see babies die. and it was Lindsey Graham, and it was states that immediately, as soon as the Supreme Court, let's run right in and ban it. You gotta let the debate happen. And if you don't, then really what you're doing is you're emboldening the enemy, so to speak. And I think Lindsey Graham did it on purpose. And I think states like the state of Kansas did it on purpose. I think there were liberals in Kansas who were pushing Amendment 2 so that voters would vote it down, and you can never bring it up. You could never bring up the idea of banning even certain types of abortion. You can't even have that conversation anymore in a lot of areas. And that cost a lot of Republicans their race in 2022. A lot of people were dead on arrival because they made this one of their issues, and because Lindsey Graham and because states like Kansas was like, let's just ban it outright right now. No. And I'm being a little facetious. Kansas, and this was part of the propaganda, Kansas' ban wasn't really a ban. It was a removal of restrictions on the legislature where they could implement a ban if they wanted, but it wasn't a ban. It was a removal of restrictions. Anyway, y'all don't give a shit about Kansas. Who am I kidding? Cheers to wherever the fuck you're from. Oh, I am halfway through my third glass of whiskey and it's feeling good tonight. Investing in our alliances to protect advanced technologies that won't be used against us. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, investing in American innovations and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating. Yeah, fucking China. You know, President Xi wasn't making overtures at Donald Trump. He knew that this country was strong. And again, I'm not a fan of Trump. But the perceived position of America against China under Donald Trump versus Joe Biden is clearly a step down. And now, as we learned from my last live stream, when you let a spy balloon float completely across your country, and then you're going to take the stage and act all tough against the country that sent the spy balloon. Come on now. Forming partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic. Those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. Yeah, no, they're not wrong at all. Again, our military, while China is training their military to be ruthless and aggressive, we're training our military how to put on dresses and respect each other's pronouns. I'm sorry. That may be inclusive. That may be polite. That may be the right thing to do in certain circles. But that's not a military that has a strong position. What? Unity agenda again. You're not interested in unity. You're interested in othering people who aren't going along with the global agenda. We passed a law making it easier for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. Look, the opioid addiction has gone past prescriptions and to the streets, so I don't know. Like, you got to convince the homeless guy to want to see a doctor. You got to convince the homeless guy to want to seek addiction treatment. You folks in my audience, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of Los Angeles and San Francisco, in Detroit, the people on the streets doing drugs, living in tents, not giving two shits, shitting in the middle of the street. the President of the United States has made it easier for them to seek addiction medication. Like they give any shits about going to see a doctor about getting off of their addictions. Gun safety law, mental health, fight against cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the burn pits. Yeah. The veterans who were getting sick. Who were getting sick back when you were fucking vice president of the United States. Yeah, now we give a shit about those people. All right. Fentanyl overdoses, blah, blah, blah. Fentanyl killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Stopping fentanyl production. And again, you can stop it here in the United States all you want, but when we're having unregulated fentanyl created in other countries where the dosage... Look, let me tell you. Look, I bought some Viagra. I think it was from Indonesia. I had some Viagra mail ordered to me from Indonesia, kind of under the radar. It was fun shit. It was years ago. Let me tell you, like 1 out of every 5 pills actually worked. And like 1 out of every 10 pills worked way too fucking good. So let me tell you, when he says, oh yeah, we're stopping fentanyl production, well, when the shit's being produced overseas and there's no regulation and they're just mixing a big pot of the shit and you can't regulate how potent one pill is from another, and you realize 3 of them are duds, so you wind up taking 4 pills and now all of a sudden you fucking OD'd? Come on now. This is another issue with having the fucking border the way it is. But Joe doesn't care. And he talks about veteran suicide. Let's be honest. That's what our military's for. You're there to die. And I say that with all the love and respect that I could give to the people who sign up for our military. I hate the idea of the military as a concept, but anyone who may be in my audience who's been a soldier, Marine, airman, sailor, Space Force, whatever they are, Coast Guard, whatever they are, Coastman, I respect you. I respect your brotherhood. I respect your life. But let's be honest. Politicians put you there to die. So the idea that all of a sudden they would care about veteran suicides, all of a sudden after, what's been happening for the crisis that's the obvious crisis that's been happening for decades. The fact that the president would, again, bring you up for political brownie points in the State of the Union address. Bullshit. Cutting cancer rates. Goal is to cut cancer death rates by 50% in the next 25 years. Okay, well, if you're sitting at home right now with stage 4, well, sorry, it's going to be, his cancer moonshot's going to be 25 years too late for you, buddy. I don't know. I firmly believe that the cure for cancers, like I don't want to say the cure, but some cures for some cancers have been out there. And I've lost very close loved ones to cancer, and I say fuck you, cancer, but I also say fuck you, government, for standing in the way. And for, again, being fucking hand in hand with Big Pharma in this fight against one of the most deadly diseases in the United States. Chemo, blah, blah, blah. Another, I met this person and they had this issue. Then he talks about HIV and AIDS and doing the same thing with cancer, blah, blah, blah. Here tonight in this chamber. Okay, so Biden says, here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of a brutal attack, but is tough and strong and resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Ladies and gentlemen, see my recent live streams, my recent history for my opinion of the incident with Paul Pelosi. There's no place for political violence in America. If you think that attack was political, where's Nancy? Oh my God. He brought it up in the State of the Union. He brought it up. Cheers to everyone out there. He brought it up in the State of the Union. I got to cheers to that, man. That's fucking bold. That's fucking bold. Anyway, let me get a little vape going on here. And again, democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. So again, he's using this to hint that right wingers are radical and don't like democracy. Come on, Joe. And so now we get toward the end where he's given, one nation under God or created equal in the image of God, stands as a beacon to the world in a new age of possibilities. I've come to fulfill my constitutional obligation to report on the State of the Union. The soul of this nation is strong because the oh my God, he misspoke and said backbone of the nation is strong. Holy shit, he said back broken and then backbone. Like he was trying to say backbone but said back broken. Because the people of the nation is strong, the State of the Union is strong. Yeah, nobody buys it. Let me take that back. The far left who will just fucking drink the Kool-Aid, they may believe it. But anyone like the fucking right, fuck you to the right wing, let me just say that, like fuck you Republican Party. But those of us in the grassroots who've been on the ground, who know what's going on in our country, who can see our own communities fucking turn into shit, we can see the State of the Union. We can see the state of the big fucking middle finger in our face. We can see the fuck you poor people. We can see the fuck you middle class. We can see the fuck you parents, put your son in a dress and bring him to our fucking government education facility so we can tell him that he has white privilege. Even though he's fucking eating ramen noodles and McDonald's every day. We can see the goddamn middle finger shoved up our ass like we're being checked for prostate cancer because you gave us the fucking prostate cancer. It's you, Washington. It's you, Joe Biden, who's been there for half your goddamn 80-year life. It's your fault. You know what you're doing. And God damn it, you got 2 more years to fuck us. And then our mainstream media will come in and tell us who's going to fuck us for 4 more years. And on that note, that's the state of the big fuck you for 2023. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. My name is Kevin Miles. You can find my social media down in the description. Except for I think my locals has been canceled. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm going to have to send an email, but I'm too goddamn drunk right now. So fuck locals for now, but I got my Twitter, Rumble, the other one, the one with the Facebook. All that's down in the description. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this rant. If you've enjoyed me bitching about the President of the United States, give me a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Catch me next time, which should be Saturday afternoon. right here on Mild's Culture Plate. And I'm going to say, go Chiefs Super Bowl this week. Well, I guess I could do that Saturday. Fuck that. No, not go Chiefs yet. Yeah, catch me next time Saturday around 4-ish p.m. Again, I may have to change that on social media if that's not correct, but that should be correct. I'm drunk, people. I can't think right. So I've got to end this stream before I do more cussing. Thank you for stopping by. Come back next time. Leave a comment down in the comments. Let me know what you'd like me to cover this Saturday. Let me know what you're upset by. Let me know your State of the Union. Find me on Twitter. Let me know your State of the Union there. I definitely love having conversations with people. Definitely share this off platform. Try to help build the audience. Try to get a community of people who are willing to argue these things with each other. Thank you very much. God bless each other. Love one another. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Don't get any on you, and if you do, rub it in real good. Take care. Peace.
They call us rebels. They smear our names.